Besima, whose movement was defeated in 2013 by a joint force of troops from South Africa, DRC, Malawi and Tanzania, says robberies, hold-up transport vehicles and interethnic conflicts in Goma, Masisi, Walikale, Lubero and Rutshuru were getting out of hand. The M23 movement blames this on government's failure to implement the provisions of the March 23, 2009 agreement between the National Congress for the Defense of the People, CNDP, and the DRC government. Following the outbreak of the war in eastern Congo in 2012, the M23, commanded by then Brigadier Sultan Makenga, captured the provincial town of Goma and threatened to move towards Kinshasa. Regional leaders prevailed over Makenga to lead his men out of the strategic town as a confidence-building measure to start peace talks. Interestingly, DRC and its allies later bombed M23 bases until the rebels fled to Uganda and Rwanda. The rebels and the government signed in Nairobi a peace declaration calling for the neutralization of different national and foreign armed groups that roam the eastern part of the country. To this end, the government pledged to work with the United Nations mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or MONUSCO, to improve security in conflict areas, protect civilians, and address the problem of negative forces. For each of areas of returning refugees, the government undertook to secure, service, and make these areas attractive, accelerate the deployment of the community policing and implementation of basic development projects and social integration, revitalize and expand local conciliation committees. But the government has always refused to be part of this logic, according to M23, because clearly it feeds on interethnic conflicts to maintain instability in Kivu. Besima says the stubbornness to maintain this kind of state among local ethnic communities reveals unequivocal intentions to push the civilians to arm themselves and kill each other to create an artificial crisis which would make sections of the country ungovernable. This allows the government to virtually create a common enemy to Congolese people that will serve as a scapegoat for its inability to respect the social contracts that bind the people. He also called for the release of activists only identified as Lucha and Filimbi, who were recently arrested during demonstrations. The M23 made demands from the DRC government, which include implementing all the provisions of the March 2009 agreement and the Nairobi Declaration of December 12, 2013, especially those concerning peace and security, as well as peaceful coexistence among all ethnic communities in the disaster areas. Besima says his movement also wants government to put in place a fund to support programs for strengthening security, national reconciliation, peaceful coexistence, and reconstruction of disaster areas for a period of 5 years. Asked what specific action would be taken if the government does not respond to their demands, the high-ranking M23 official is quoted as saying M23 will not let the situation deteriorate further. Besima said the United Nations should put an end to procrastination and hesitation of their intervention brigade, which gathers so many pretexts to evade its obligation to effectively neutralize the FDLR and the ADF. He emphasized that the intervention brigade has the mandate to conduct military operations unilaterally against armed groups, especially where innocent civilians are dying by the hundreds.